Well, babe, I notice you're not riding your bike today. Why do you suppose that is?
Because the license plate doesn't work.
What do you mean the license plate doesn't work?
It doesn't work. It's not good.
Uh-oh. Would you say this is a case of poor engineering?
It's a case of zip tie engineering.
Well, it was never zip tied.
Yeah.
But I would say that the mount that I engineered
There are some zip ties.
is crap. No, that's for the wires. But this mount is crap.
No one can see that.
I can see that. It ripped because license plates are not strong pieces of sheet metal. Well, at least it lasted for one ride.
Wires.
Alright, I think we should take that off and replace it. What do you think? What is this now?
It's for the license plate.
That's gonna work better.
It's too small for the license plate, doesn't it?
It's just for the top. Just the top mounts there.
Yeah.
This is a custom license plate by Capsco Moto. Okay, almost conveniently enough, the wiring harness has extra color-coded wires. Enough so that we can wire it up to each side of this, which is fantastic. Almost. The only problem is we only have one green with yellow stripe wire, which is the brake. So if we turn this bitch on, look at that. Running lights. Only one brake light. So we're gonna have to splice the brake light lead so that we have both turn on. Okay. So we have the two brake wires. Green, yellow. Just gonna use this one vampire tap. I'm gonna loop this guy, connect them together, and then we can plug this one end in wherever the hell that is, here. Alright. Vampire tap. Pull the teeth out because they're stuck. I don't know if they're called teeth, but I figure if we're talking about vampires,
Yeah.
teeth is a pretty good word. One. Yeah, let's put them in next to each other. All right.
I don't think vampires say arg.
Oh, it's like a pirate vampire,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm.
Okay, so now they're together. Ain't that lovely? Plug this little guy in. And then make sure that we will cover this up with a nice piece of tape. Tape is your friend. Alright, so now... Yeah. Tell me it works. That works.
Yes.
That works. Oh, fucking genius. Look at that. Boom, boom. Alright. So you know what happened to this thing?
Yes.
What happened?
The red plastic fell off.
Yep, the lens fell off. It fell off when this whole thing basically fell off. Do you know why this whole thing fell off?
Your fault.
My fault.
That's what I think
It was
too.
too goddamn heavy for the little bracket that I made.
Yeah.
So it flipped around, popped off. But you know what was wrong with it before that even happened?
What?
I neglected to take into account that when this thing was originally mounted on the side, the side mount, there was still a taillight up here. That other taillight was lending resistance, and so this was able to survive. Whereas when it was the only light, all these little LEDs were blown out. And that was sad. They look fine, don't they?
Yeah, but you never know with LEDs.
You never do know with LEDs. Oh well. He's dead now.
Yeah.
So we have our well-taped turd here. Big black turd with all of our wire connections. And then we've got this thing dangling. It's dangling because we don't have a bracket yet. You need a bracket so it can stay up there and look badass. Right, baby?
Yeah.
That's right.
Too bad it's European plate.
Yeah, so we're gonna make a nice flat bracket that mounts to these 3 points.
You shouldn't have put this in yet, because you have to drill holes in this.
That's alright, I'm a badass.
Oh.
So anyway, we're gonna make a bracket that mounts to these 3 points and then bends out a little bit to mount this to. What? Are we awesome or what?
Well, we gotta see the finished product.
Yeah. I thought I was awesome the last time I did this. Guess what?
I'll make that mistake twice.
No, let's not. Okay, so to make my bracket to attach to these points and to the taillight assembly, I'm going to use a piece of sheet aluminum. I used sheet aluminum technically on the last one that I made poorly. That was far thinner. That was license plate thickness. This is quite a bit thicker. I don't know what gauge it is, honestly, but it's pretty frickin' strong. And plus the design of this is going to be far simpler, so should be less stress. And it won't have to support the weight of this big heavy hunk of aluminum. So, should be far better. There's your future mount. Safety first.
Hmm.
Really hot. Three mounting holes here, and I marked off 3 mounting holes here. 1, 2, 3, and then this guy mounts with 2 bolts. You'll see I put a little bend in that, matches the bend here. Throw your shit around. 2 holes there. I just got to drill them out and test fit everything. Look at that. I changed the shape again. Alright, so once I started to mock this up and figure out where this attaches with these bolts, I realized I needed to clearance this here. Those 2 big old bumps where the wires come out, so that when this bolts down, this can sit wherever it has to sit. Probably something like that, actually. Okay, a couple things worth noting. If you're using one of these Capsco rear taillights and license plate mounts, you might note that they're made for, I imagine, European plates or something, so holes are kind of useless for us with plates here in the United States, so you're gonna have to drill this out. I started to try drilling this out, and yes, I use a nice center punch. Using a regular drill bit ain't gonna cut it. So, ended up getting one of these cobalt bits here. Supposed to be pretty good for hard metal. So I'm gonna give that a shot. If you can avoid it, don't be a moron like I am and try to do this with everything already attached to the bike. It just makes things awkward. So, word to the wise there. I'm going to go ahead and drill these holes out, and we can finish putting this thing together. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Yes, I scratched it up. No, I don't care. Not too bad. Now I just need to assemble this thing, and we'll be done, and I can stop fielding questions from the girl about, when can we go riding? Soon, baby. Soon. Okay, so the wires are not all tied down yet, but that's okay. So I fed most of the wires through this hole. They're all just kind of dangling back here for now. First thing I'm gonna do though is attach this bracket. And the important thing to note here is I'm using these zinc coated bolts. I'll put a washer on each side, and also, most importantly, nylon lock nuts. Right, you don't want these things backing out. It's just a big pain in the ass. Okay, attached. Moving on. Well, I didn't like the way it was sitting, mounted up, and actually you could see some of this paint was already chipped here on the edges, but a little bit here on the inside I actually just did with this goddamn thing. This plate mount is a little too wide to sit up in between the two edges of the fender. So given enough forethought, I actually could have cut the edge off of this thing, but instead, as you can see here, I put a little bend in that upper corner just to give it a little bit more clearance, as I'm about to do here with this side. Just used a big old electrician's adjustable wrench. Get a grip on it, give it a little bend, got a little clearance. Okay, that's about where I want it. I think that's well centered. Yeah, you can see I bent the edges a little bit on this thing intentionally. And just the way it mounts here, a little bit of foam rubber in here, which I guess is helpful to absorb a little bit of vibration. But otherwise it's just through bolted. And I might actually replace these with some nylon lock nuts too, because I don't like the way they seem to loosen up. Alright, next thing I gotta do is get all this wiring tucked up in there. I'll use some zip ties for that. Easy peasy. And then we'll throw the plate on and we'll be done. All bundled together. Okay, all tied up. It's all good. Okay, so that's it. Now we've got a very custom dual tail light brake light combo with the license plate mount hanging below. It's kind of a traditional location, I guess, for a license plate mount, but certainly custom when you're talking about one of these old Rebels. So that's it, folks. 1986 Rebel 250.